There we are. Hey, Soph, you all right?
Yes, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Thank you so much for giving your time up tonight. I really appreciate it. Really, really do.
That's all right. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, it's all right. We thought it'd be a nice idea while everyone's on lockdown, just to have a natter with some of our investors, both past and previous investors, just to ask them some questions really that we get asked a lot. I guess it's almost better to come from an investor's mouth rather than us keep spouting the same stuff. So yeah, so thank you very much for doing this. So what we thought we'd do is give you a chance to introduce yourself, because I know that you've got an awful lot going on now with your own company, and then just ask you a couple of questions about what it was like to invest, if that's all right with you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, great. Yes, if you want to introduce yourself and what you do.
So I'm Sophie, as you just said, and I now run a company called Dentstone Property Ventures. So I set that up just wanting to get into property, and the idea was sourcing, and then you sourced me directly to me a lovely little property in Grimsby, which was completely unexpected. So it's now, there's two prongs to it. So yes, we've got this buy-to-let going through, which has been hindered by lockdown. So there's been a bit of a change of strategy with that, but still very exciting, and it is going through. And then we've got the sourcing element, which I'm still trying to pin down exactly what I want to do with that. So the idea at the moment is bespoke sourcing, but at the minute I am looking into social housing, because there's an ever-growing need for social housing and supported accommodation. Yeah. So part of that comes off a need that I saw working back at the Alzheimer's Society, when we worked with people in their own homes and their homes needed adjusting to cope with their changing needs. So I jokingly said, wouldn't it be great if I set a company up that tailored people's homes like the care homes now get set up specifically for dementia? So then my partner John and his mum, who works for care homes and in care homes, said, actually, yeah, do it.
It's a really good idea.
So it's now on my to-do list as part of my strategy to get there one day.
Yeah.
To provide homes that are tailored for individuals' needs. And something just came across me that said, why wait? Why wait until 5 years, 10 years down the line? Why not do it and make that your strategy? So it might not specifically be for dementia right now. It could be for people that are homeless that just need affordable accommodation.
Yeah.
So that's tailoring, but quite simply is it's not fancy. It's not providing really high spec accommodation with Netflix on the TVs. It's giving them a nice comfy bed to sleep in and somewhere to cook a hot meal.
Yeah, and just somewhere safe really that they can call home, I suppose, isn't it? And then there's a massive need, and I think coming out of COVID as well, there'll be an even bigger need for what you're offering. Definitely. It's how has Dentstone Properties been going, Soph?
So I set that up. I believe the company was registered in October.
Okay.
So it's just been a case of getting all the legal stuff in place. So I'm now fully compliant, so I can source deals if I find any and manage to match them up with the investors. So at the minute I'm being dictated by what the investors want. So I'm currently looking for a rent-to-rent deal. So I'm sourcing, trying to find a landlord with a HMO that has the potential to make more money than it's currently making. So it could be that the landlord doesn't really want to put any more investment in.
Mm-hmm.
It want a lick of paint or new carpets or anything like that really, or even just some better furniture, but they haven't got the time maybe or don't have the cash to put that in.
Mm-hmm.
Particular investor wants to sort that problem and then take the extra profit. So really we're looking at making a bit of extra money per room on the rent, which then means that that landlord just passes all the responsibility of that property over to this investor. So then he's completely hands off, but we'll make sure he's still making the same money.
Yeah.
This investor takes that on as if it were his HMO, puts a bit of investment in to bring it up to scratch with the rest of them, and then takes the profit.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Amazon, they don't own assets particularly. So Amazon don't have products, they're a service, so they're like the middleman between the buyer and the product. So that's kind of what you're doing with rent to rent. You're getting the landlord and the people, your tenants that are going to be living there, bridging the gap.
Yeah, and it's a win-win for all, really, isn't it, that strategy? It's a great opportunity for landlords that kind of do want to be hands-off but kind of want to cover their bills still, but a really good opportunity for somebody who wants to do a rent-to-rent deal as well and earn a bit more money than what they could be doing, really. So, yeah, great strategy.
Exactly.
Strategy. Okay. So if it's all right with you, I just want to take you back probably 18 months, I think it probably was now, to ask you a bit about why you started investing with Your Space, which is our company. So I guess, yeah, why did you start doing that, really?
So I'd got a pot of cash sat in the bank, not earning me a great deal of interest. And it had always bugged me that I earned more interest in a regular savings account that I put, I think, £200 a month in than I did on an ISA that had got, I think at the time, 15 grand sat in it. So it just didn't make any sense. And it was at a party at your house that you were telling me what your plans were. So you just refurbished the house you live in. Mm-hmm. You were saying that that was the goal, to do that time and time again and use other people's money to do houses up and give people nice places to live and then just keep going. And it was just really interesting that you were saying how you needed more money to do it, and that your sister had invested. So I was thinking, okay, this is interesting. Well, if someone else has got the faith to invest in you, well, I might. So I thought, well, you've proved you can do it with your own house and it's worked. So let's give it a go. So you said to me it was completely on my terms, which it was. So I said, okay, if we're testing the waters, we'll go for 6 months and I'll have the interest monthly, because that way I knew that I was then getting something from it and I could see that. Whereas if it was just building nowhere, I had no evidence of it really. And then in the back of my head, I was thinking, what can I use that money for? So we'd got the goal of buying new sofas, which I always use this example because it's just so clear. So our sofas that we were using at the time were 200 quid off Gumtree and they were horrendously uncomfortable. So our goal for that year was to get new sofas. So after this conversation with you, we'd then gone to the sofa shop and looked at sofas and fallen in love with these electric recliners. So I then thought, well, I can use the interest to pay off these sofas. And I can't remember the figures off the top of my head, what they cost me, but I'm sure it was something ridiculous like 200 quid that the sofas cost me, even though they were £3 grand sofas. So that was my half, obviously. So how it worked was I got, I think, £62.50.
£62.50 to start, yeah.
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 Funny that you remember those things. So I got that every month, and then that then went on to John to pay off the sofas that were sat on his credit card. So the 6 months were up, and you said, do you want your money back? I said no. Because it just worked, and I thought, right, what can I do? So I made it up. So I thought, oh, I've got another £5 grand sat there, and then I kept finding more. I was like, no, we've got to make it so it's around £100 a month in income. Because I'd just forgotten about a savings account that I'd got. I was like, yeah, we'll use that as well. So I then made it up to £24,000, so I could have £100 a month in interest. So then that was being paid off a month, whereas I was paying John, I think it was £102 something a month. So every month, my sofas for the next 6 months were costing me £2. Very nice leather electric recliners.
That's a really good.
So it wasn't just money for the sake of it. It was, I'd have got something to show for it.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, I suppose, well, £62.50 a month's quite a lot to get from having savings somewhere, isn't it? But £100 a month, yeah.
Yeah, I think in a year on that 15 grand, I got about 80 quid.
When it was in the bank?
Yeah, in a year. So then to get £62.50 a month was a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why I was so eager to say, yeah, take all my money.
I'm very glad you did.
I'm not touching it right now. You may as well put it to use. And then to see the product that came out of it as well was amazing. That money, it wasn't sat in a bank earning somebody else some money for doing nothing, or I don't really know what happens with money in a bank. Whereas when I saw the photos of Baker Street, I was amazed at how nice that is, and thinking, so I've worked hard and saved that money, and I've maybe taken a bit of a risk, who knows, to put that money in a company, but then to see what that's done and to know that people live there, it's just so much nicer than thinking, you know.
It's just sat there and you don't really know where it is, I guess, do you? And the great thing about you was because you reinvested for the second time for the next 6 months, you did 12 months, didn't you, in total? You actually came, didn't you, to look around some of the properties. So we reused your money twice. So we used it in Baker Street and then pulled it out, and then we used it in a buy-to-let property as well and pulled that out for you. So it was quite nice actually to be able to show an investor exactly where their money has gone, and you could stand in the properties that you've helped make happen really, and at the same time your sofas have paid off, which is great.
Yeah, they were paid off quicker than expected actually, because I think me saying to John, oh, do you know what these sofas have cost me? He was like, well, I'm going to get them paid off quicker than I.
And something we get asked quite a lot really is the process. So once people are kind of happy with that they've got their mindset on investing in property or investing with your space so we can put their money into property, what did you think the process was like? Did you find it quite scary, or was it quite straightforward with us?
It was really straightforward. I didn't really know what to expect, but then I suppose it's easier because I knew you, and living quite close as well, we could just kind of exchange the contracts that we needed to, and yeah, really simple.
Yeah.
Because it was no more difficult than setting up a new bank account. So all I think I had to do was sign a form that was the contract between us to say that my money is essentially safe, and transfer the money over. Easy as
that. Yeah, and that's it really, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it's really nice to get the updates that you send to say what you are doing, because it's that bit of reassurance as well, knowing that, oh, okay, they are doing something with my money. So if somebody's not on social media following or chatting to you, however often it may be, to know what's going through and what is renting out. Yeah, it's nice to see.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice of you to bring that up actually, because I totally forgot about it. But yeah, so we have some investors that are completely hands off and just take their interest when they want it, when it's agreed to be taken. And then we have other investors that are a bit more interested about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So yeah, every quarter we will send our investors an update on our houses, our deals that are coming up. Our main aim is to help people, so who we've helped, who we've given money to charity to. So yeah, it's quite nice to touch base with people really, I guess. So thank you for bringing that up. Totally forgot. Yeah, and I guess my last question really was, what made you change from investing your money in your space to investing in your own education and becoming a property investor?
It just really interested me, and it brought back something that I'd always thought I was interested in. So as a kid, when all my friends were watching, I don't even know what they were watching, to be honest, Friends or I don't know, see, just didn't pay attention. I was watching DIY SOS Extreme Makeover Home Edition, 60-second makeover, looking at the slapdash for a job they'd done there and just laughing really. And programs like that really stick with me, and I just enjoy. I suppose I like seeing the transformation, and I thought, actually, I could do that. And even when I walk the dog, I still do it now, and I've always done it when walking the dog. I look at houses, and as I walk past, I think, what would I do to the outside of that house? So to think I could do that as a job, or even if I keep it as a sideline, is quite nice. So yeah, that's what I thought. And obviously, liking the numbers side of it, I looked at how quickly our money could grow if I kept it with you. And that was quite shocking. I thought, right, my options here are I take the money back and do it myself, or I leave it with you and let the interest compound. And the amount it had grown was shocking.
Yeah.
Just to be completely hands off, if that was an option, it was like, wow.
Yeah, it's a really good option for people.
That'd be quite a nice retirement pot.
Yeah.
But no, we'll try it. So I thought, what have I got to lose? But what I really needed to do was get the education to know what to do.
Yeah.
Part of it was thinking, I can't just keep saying to you, please, can you tell me how to do this? How do I do that? Where should I do this? I thought, no, you've got to prove that you're serious and you've got to educate yourself to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the amazing thing that I find with you is that you really try to learn. You went from being an investor as an investor in another company to really throwing yourself in it and thinking, I need to do this seriously, and spending, which is not a small amount of money, I know that, you know that, on education, but the amount of money you can lose in one deal if you do houses wrong is probably quadruple what you'd pay for trading. So so I'm just so chuffed that you've done it the right way, really, mate. And what are we, 6 months into your company, and you've got a deal going through, and when COVID lifts, it's ready to go, and you'll be housing a family soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see a family move into that house thinking I'm doing something nice and not wanting to be a rogue landlord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it feels like there are so many out there that actually to change that, and just, I'm looking forward to doing the little things for families that live in the houses that I have, like sending them a box of chocolates at Christmas, and those little things just to remind them that actually landlords are people, we're not the enemy.
Definitely. And you can, just the way you are, I mean, your kind of stuff about the social housing, wanting to help people, your idea from the Alzheimer's Society, which was, 3-4 years ago, I think now, we talked about that. So like, it's obviously in you, like you're a great person anyway, aren't you? So you can put that into your houses as well. But no, thank you so much for doing this for us today. We really appreciate it. And I guess it's all right with you, I'll say it on camera, if people want to get in touch with, we'll put your details and Denstone's property details on there. If they want to either have questions about investing or want to know what you're doing, that's okay for you?
Yeah, please do. I've got a bit of a list going that I like to send updates out on. So the people that are on the list currently I've met face-to-face at training, so I have met all of them. So I will send photos out of me on those. I have done recently. The most recent email I actually sent out a picture of my dog, just because with the situation at the moment, I thought people might need a bit of cheering up, and he's currently in a cone because he's got a bad paw. So I thought he was doing a great impression of the Pixar lamp, so I thought, let's send that out to the investor list. There was a purpose behind the email too, but we'll throw a bit of me in there. You don't want all these corporate emails.
Yeah, definitely. You have a personality, and that's...
Yeah, I wanted that to come across. So yeah, even if you just want updates about my dog, you might want to join the list. But I'm not necessarily at the moment going to be sending deals out on the list, but I'm going to be keeping investors up to date with what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, so then they can make the choice on whether they kind of get in touch with me to say, yeah, actually, I want to work with you and get some deals going.
Yeah, definitely.
Ever changing and ever evolving, so it may change into a deal list, or it may stay as a bit of a newsletter and an update.
Yeah. And I think we're in really, nobody knows what's happening at the minute, are they? We're in very uncertain times. So, it's good to have options, isn't it? Either way. But no, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate that, Sophie. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll put your contact details on the piece. We'll put it out. All right.